Hello everyone, this is International Master John Daniel Bryant, bringing you this game that I played in round 9 of the North American Open in 2012. My opponent is a legit Super Grandmaster, John Ludvig Hammer, the number 2 player in Norway after a certain world champion. And this guy has been over 2,700 a couple different times, so he's a serious opponent. It's an honor to play against him. And up to this point, I was having the turn of my life. I had 6 out of 8, and of those 8 games, I played 6 Grandmasters and scored 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. And before this game started, Sam Shankland, who was Hammer's roommate during this tournament, and my friend when we were growing up, still, he came up to me and he asks, have you calculated if you win this game, do you still, or sorry, if you lose this game, do you still get the GM norm? And I just looked at him with total focus in my eyes, without any hesitation or emotion. I just said, I don't plan to lose. Which is just a confident way of saying that while I'm playing the game, I'm not going to be thinking about the result. I'll just try to play my best game. So, here's the game. And of course, the answer to this title video is to play the Benoni. So this is the topical line. It was the topical line in 2012, and it still is today because it puts a critical test to the Benoni. It's very logical because he's taking advantage of the Benoni pawn, this weak pawn. And there's 2 moves on move 7. I could also have played bishop g7, but on this occasion I chose a6. And the idea is that if you play bishop g7, he plays queen a4 check, bishop d7, queen b3, and he's hitting 2 pawns. So black is going to have to sacrifice those pawns or play this passive queen c7 move. So, but this bishop blocks. It's kind of keeping me from having a harmonious development. So, like if my queen goes to c7, it's taking away the square from this knight. So anyway, I decided to play a6. And now if queen a4 check, I could simply play bishop d7. It is one good move. Yeah, and then... oh, just b5 actually. And then knight takes b5, bishop d7 is just winning this. And then I win the knight. So that's why he can't play queen a4 against a6. So he plays a4, bishop g7, h3. And the idea of h3 is just so that whenever I play knight h5, he can always retreat to this square here and keep his eye on this pawn. Furthermore, he's also preventing me from playing bishop g4 at any moment and trading off my bad Benoni bishop. So castles, e3, queen e7, knight bd7, and here b6 was a move I had came up with and had analyzed at home extensively. It was a novelty at the time, and the idea is that I'm keeping white from ever cracking my pawn structure with a5, and in that case I'm going to be able to play b5 later. I keep the idea of b5 later while maintaining a healthy pawn structure. So, for instance, if I went here, then he has this option, and this pawn is always going to be weak, potentially. So, that's the idea of b6. And he played this move queen b3, which I had seen a lot of strong players doing against me online, like even GMs, and I think it's a bad move, which is based on some kind of dogma. It makes more sense if white had already clamped down on my pawn structure with a5, but now he's just getting in the way of my rook. like once I play b5 later, so I don't think that makes sense. And in fact, later on he just goes back to c2, so that shows that queen b3 is a mistake. And in fact, I think black may already be better here. Rook e1, preparing e4 later. And here I just want to play f5 so that I'm playing against this e4 move, and I'm gaining space on the king side while there's nothing to do on the queen side for the moment. And now knight e5 and knight f7. And so now that my knight has moved to f7, the d7 square is available for my bishop, and also my queen can slide over to the queen side if I want to. So, and also for the moment his e3 pawn is under attack. Bishop d3, knight f6. I wonder what happens if he plays e4 here. Well, yeah, then you see that my knight will be well placed defending this pawn here. And also, once I get rid of this pawn, it can potentially maneuver to f5 and then d4. So those are some ideas here. But the computer doesn't like e4. My opponent didn't play that. Played queen c2, as I said. And now I played queen b7, which is a very strong move. And the idea is to support b5. And I'm also eyeing this d5 pawn. And now I played b5. And, well, okay, I think this is best. Like, if I had played knight takes d5, then he takes, bishop c4. I have to go back somewhere. And then after, like, rook d1, then white could even be better here because of this control of this pawn. I think that's what it is, to be sure. So that's why I didn't like taking, and I preferred b5. So now after takes, if he was to take with the bishop, then I take here, and then once he takes here, I can, instead of taking here, I can take this bishop now, and then I'm just better because I'm probably going to win this pawn. And I have, you know, my position's very good, this bishop's very bad. But he took with a knight, and so knight takes d5. And black is much better here because, well, because this bishop is way better than this bishop, which is stuck behind this pawn. And I have strong pressure against this b2 pawn here. So, and also, I'm threatening knight b4, which would win a piece if it was my move. So I played queen b6, and the idea of this move is that I want to play bishop d7, but without letting him play rook a7 with a tempo. So that's why I played queen b6. Now queen d2, knight f6. So I want to come into e4. And he prevents that. If I was to take this, that wouldn't be very wise because I would bring his bishop back into the game. He's practically playing down a piece without this bishop, unless I allow that. So I just played d5. So I prevented him from playing bishop c4. Now c4. So I forced this. I cut his bishop off from the defense of this knight. So now he has to move the knight, and then I can win this pawn if I want. So I chose not to, but it was pretty reasonable to take this pawn right away. But my reasoning with this move, rook d8, was just that rook d8 is definitely an improvement on my position, and why should I start trading pieces now? Because this b2 pawn is always going to be weak, so I thought maybe I could get more of an advantage by just leaving him with that weakness while improving my position. And queen b4, take, knight takes f7. What did I play here? So he wants to play knight e6. That's his idea. So I just prevented that with rook e8. So he's renewing the threat, sort of. But after bishop f8, I've relieved some of his pin against my king. So now if he was to play this, then I take with a rook. And then if rook takes c8, then rook takes e3. I'm up a clean pawn, and this pawn is going to fall as well. So this is a winning. Okay. So he played knight d3, a tricky move, but I just decided to take it because I saw that after this, bishop e2 is forced, rook takes b2, and he simply has no way of defending rook b1 followed by this, and he has to give up a piece. So I should be winning pretty easily, but as you'll see, things are not as easy as I thought. Knight e6, I had to defend my bishop. Bishop g3. Yes. Right here, I played rook b6, which is not, it's not a bad move. I'm still winning with that move, but I could have been winning pretty much very quickly here if I had played, let me see my analysis. Rook b1 check here should be winning quickly. And well, if king h2, yeah, if king f2 here, I think. Well, if king f2, I have this knight d6 move, and then like knight e4 and stuff. Yeah. Well, let me check the analysis. So let's see, like, this is -7. And if king h2, then I have rook e1 is very strong, and then bishop f3, and then I just take here, and this is just totally winning, because I'm threatening to play rook takes f3 and then queen. Alright. Unfortunately, though, I played rook b6, and now he can prolong the game. So he's threatening bishop e7 now. So I played king g7. Yes. And this was another point. I could have played rook b1 check with similar plays, and it was winning again. But I think it's worth noting that both of us were in some pretty serious time pressure, especially me. So I was just trying to keep all of my advantages here and make sure I don't lose, and make sure I can reach the time control. So yeah, so I didn't see that rook b1 idea again. Bishop e7. And so now on the time controlled, I made knight e6, which is a lemon, which gives him serious chances to draw this game. If I had played knight d7, then his chances are very, very slim. Like king f2, rook b1. And well, he just can't stop this, so I'm going to be up a piece eventually. But with knight e6, he's able to create some additional tactical threats. So I played rook b7 here. The idea of this move was to get his bishop away from the f6 square. So for instance, if I had played rook b1 here, then rook c6 is a draw, because after my knight moves, like here, that's only square, right? Then he goes bishop f6 check, and then king g8, rook c8, and then he has, oh, whoa, not that. Rook a6, I guess. And then take, rook a8, and then I have no defense against bishop e7 to win this knight back, and those positions should be a draw. Furthermore, if I play king h6, then I think I'm... Oh, he's actually just totally winning with rook c7, because after this knight moves, bishop g7 check wins this knight. And my king is also like close to getting mated, so... Oh yeah, I mean this would be mate, so I can't do that. Alright. So, I played rook b7 to get his bishop away from f6. Rook e8. Yeah, this was a point, this was a move I could have played d4, which is likely winning. But I played rook b1, which is not bad. g4. h6. Yeah, the idea of h6 was just to prevent him from playing g5 and then getting this bishop in that nasty position there. So that's why I played h6. Bishop a3, attacking my knight. Knight c7, okay. Knight b5.
Check.
Bishop f8 check. Oh, yeah, if his bishop ever moves, then I just promote, so he can never move this bishop from that diagonal. King h7. King f6, I'm practically mated. I have to give up a knight, so that would be resignable for me, unfortunately. Or very bad, at least. So, rook c5, take. Ah, yes. F takes g4 is not the best move. Likely d4 was winning. Let's see, do I have that here? Ah. I made a little bit of notes on g takes f5. And let me just show that. G takes f5, G takes f5. And oh, sorry. After rook c5, I played f takes g4, which is not the best move. I should have played d4, and then after g takes f5, G takes f5, E takes d4, knight f d6, with idea of knight e4 check. Bishop takes d6, knight takes d6, and black will win a piece with this, so this endgame should just be winning for me, because I have this nice square. So yeah, I missed this. Both of us were very low on time here, though. And I played this f takes g4 move, and I was counting on him to play bishop takes g4. If he had played h takes g4, then this is likely a draw with best play. But after bishop takes g4, I'm winning, for sure. Because I played h5, very nice, bishop f3, and now d4. So if he takes it, knight takes d4, and I'm covering all of his bishop's squares here, so I'm just going to take his bishop and queen, so that's pretty nice, domination of the bishop. So he played h4, but it doesn't really matter. My knight is getting into c3 since he wasn't able to take the pawn. And after this, I queen. Oh, sorry, take the pawn. I queen. Bishop takes d5. Knight d5 check. And since I'm going to be up a full rook, he resigned. And also, if he played, if he took this knight,
Check.
king g8, bishop takes d1, knight
Check.
takes d1, king d2. Again, I'm up a full rook. So I won this game. It's still, this tournament I played at the end of 2012 is the best tournament I've played to date. I finished with 7 out of 9, and I got clear second in the tournament. Usually, 7 out of 9 would be enough to win the tournament, but this time Timur Gurayev got 8 out of 9, which is just a legendary score. It was unbelievable. But I got my second GM norm. That was very nice, and that's about all I have to say for this game. I hope you enjoyed watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see y'all later. Peace.